Hello everybody, it's Starraptor here. Welcome to my reaction for Nintendo Spotlight E3 2017. They went over all of their Switch games that are coming out in the future. And first off, they started it off with the third-party support. They announced that they are getting Rocket League. So yes, that game that is basically on every platform. And they did announce it's going to have crossplay. So that's really cool. So I guess you'll be able to play people on Xbox, PC, PS4. That'll be really neat. Also, they showed off FIFA 2018, and wow, I can't believe the game of that caliber is going to run on something as portable on Switch and still handle excellently. And from there, they went into more of their competitive games. What was announced earlier last week was Pokken Tournament, and this is basically a port from the Wii U version. So it is nice to see that they're bringing back some of these titles that people might have not played because not a lot of people had the Wii U. So it's cool to see that they announced that I think there's going to be more Pokemon characters and stages that are exclusive to the Switch version. Next up, they talked a little bit about ARMS. And this is the game that's actually out right now at the time of recording. This is out on Friday. And this game looks really unique. They showed it off when they first announced Switch. And it's already got kind of this really competitive nature to it. It's a lot like rock, paper, scissors, shoot as far as picking your champion and customizing their arms to best suit them. Really neat. And they also talked about Splatoon 2, which is highly anticipated by the community. And it looks like it's just everything but a step up from the original. And they announced that for all three of these games, they're having tournaments. So it's really neat that Nintendo is almost kind of getting into esports in a way with these three titles that are highly competitive. So the next game that was announced was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The first one was out on Wii U, so we are getting this on Switch, and this looks epic. It's just a big, sprawling adventure that's probably going to take dozens and dozens of hours. The next thing that was announced was Kirby, and well, this is really cool because it's got this co-op, and you can kind of take control of the enemies, and people can jump in and play that way. So the next game that they revealed is a biggie. We are, in fact, getting a Pokemon game that's an RPG developed by Game Freak at some point in the future for the Nintendo Switch. And this is an announcement that I was waiting for a while now, because I can't tell you the last time that we had a full-fledged console Pokemon RPG. I don't think it's ever existed. Well, I go back to the N64. We had Pokemon Stadium, and I loved seeing the 3D animated versions of the Pokemon, but now they've been doing a good job on the 3DS with actually representing the vibrancy and the characters in a 3D format, so I can't wait to see what it's going to look like with the high fidelity of the graphics. And now after they've done Legend of Zelda, that high sprawling adventure open world, it's like my imagination is just going all over the place just thinking about the possibilities that this game can explore. Another game that was announced, again, really didn't have any images other than the title screen, is we are getting a Metroid Prime 4. And I remember playing these games on the GameCube, namely the first one, and wow, I just loved that game, the exploration, and just seeing that series that was originally supposed to be 2D in a completely different format. So I'm really looking forward to that. The next game that was revealed is a Yoshi game. It's going to be a 2D, very similar to the Epic Yarn and stuff like that, it looks like. So another game that was announced was Fire Emblem Warriors. This was more of a CG trailer, didn't really show us most gameplay, but we can expect that it'll be similar to Hyrule Warriors, a kind of Dynasty Warrior version of this classic game with these characters like Marth. Moving on to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's not done yet. There's 2 DLC coming out. First off, we have the Master's Trials, and then we have the Champion's Ballad, and they're both being released this year. And speaking of the Champion's Ballad, all those new champions featured in that expansion are getting their very own amiibos, so look out for them. Another game that I was very, very surprised to see is this game called Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And I think this was announced a few days before E3, and I didn't really give it much thought. But after seeing this game more on the Ubisoft press conference, it's basically Ubisoft combining with Nintendo to create this crossover type game. And it's not just a crossover as far as characters coming over, but it's a completely new genre that we've never seen Mario in before. It's more of a strategy tactics game, and the best way I could describe it is Mario meets XCOM. Because yeah, and it might sound like they can never go together, but there's these weapons that the characters have, these kind of gun weapons, and there's cover, and you move your characters forward. There's jumping involved. There's also exploration. This is one of the games that I'm looking most forward to see how it pans out, because this is really interesting how there's this partnership between Nintendo and Ubisoft. And Nintendo is one of those companies, they don't really like to put themselves out there and mix with other kind of crossover material. So I really want to see how this thing turns out. And finally, the game we were all waiting for was held to the very end. We had the reveal of Super Mario Odyssey, at least the gameplay reveal. Or they did show us gameplay last year, but they showed us even more this year. And it definitely looks like the hat that you wear is the #1 thing in this game. You can use this hat and you can take control of pretty much anything in this game, it looks like. And well, it looks just so much like Super Mario 64. You use this ship to go to all these different worlds, like this New Donk City, which basically looks like New York. But yeah, this just looks really, really fun, and this could be Nintendo's big game for the end of the year. It's coming out in October. This looks like it's going to rival that of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, honestly. So that was what was shown at the Nintendo Spotlight at E3. I thought they did a great job. Nintendo kind of dwelled on the third-party support, which the Wii U didn't really have much of, so it's great to see that there. They also showed us games that are coming out within the next few months. They showed us games that are coming out in 2018, and games even further on the horizon, so there's lots of great stuff to come from Nintendo. Something I didn't really like about this spotlight was that there wasn't any focus on the 3DS games, so that has me thinking, is there gonna be a slow death for the mobile system now that Switch is kind of taking control? I don't know. I did hear afterwards during a Treehouse, which is their live stream, that they are actually going to have a new 2D Metroid game, so I don't know why they wouldn't showcase that there. So those are my thoughts on Nintendo's Spotlight at E3 2017, but I want to know what you guys saw of all the games that were revealed. What are you most looking forward to, and are you going to buy a Switch to play some of these games? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. Also, make sure you check out more of my E3 videos. I have my thoughts on the Sony conference as well as the Microsoft conference, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any other content. I do lots of gaming content on this channel as well as Star Wars, TV, and movies. I'm StarRaptor. Thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye. So, did you like the video? Then make sure you rate it a thumbs up, and if you did that, go over there, hit that StarRaptor head to subscribe to my channel. Doing so will keep you up to speed on all of my latest content. Speaking of which, you can see a couple of my recent uploads down below. I'm also on social media, so what are you waiting for? Let's start nerding out.